Well, Clark Lee lands another commit. That's number 5, and this one's a major force as a pass rusher. Clark Lee just keeps building this defense. Here we go.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Corey Burton. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for making this show what it is. Shout out to the everydayers. Now, Clark Lee lands his 5th commit. It's edge rusher Jace McCallum from North Carolina. McCallum brings I think he's going to bring some star power to Clark Lee's defense. When looking at his film, I'm very excited about that. And then there's 2 more big targets committing soon. I think Vandy's leading. Vandy looks like they're in good shape. So here we go. Also, the game times or the windows for games have been set for the season. When is Vanderbilt playing? When are they playing their most important games? We'll find out. You've probably already found out if you're on social media, but we'll talk about it here. And then Austin and I getting some big recognition for the Vandy boys. So that's pretty cool here. But thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So, just when I think, okay, I'm in off-season mode, I'm going to talk about whatever I need to talk about, somebody goes and commits. It is a great problem to have. And I couldn't be more fired up about this defense. This is a commit that I think is going to make a difference in this defense. I think this is a commit that is a absolute beast, absolute force on the defensive line. I think his versatility lends itself to that as well. I'm really excited about this one. This Jace McCallum, Hickory Ridge, North Carolina. Here's kind of the tale of the tape. And for you audio guys, we're not going to watch the film because you guys can't see the film. So 5th commit, like I said, and this one's a good one. All right. And if you watch this film, go to you can Google search Jace McCallum huddle. It'll come up. Or if you're a member of like 247 or any of that, you can click on his profile and his highlights are there as well. But Jace McCallum, man, the thing that stands out to me about him is that his burst off the line of scrimmage is elite. I mean, he jumps out off the line of scrimmage. I mean, he is disruptive. Blockers have a hard time containing him a lot of times, and this just might be high school competition, but a lot of times that dude's out of his stance that dude's in the backfield on the way to the quarterback before the tackle even really gets out of his stance. I mean, a lot of those tackles are just like, they can't help but just turn and look and watch as he blows right past them on his way to the quarterback. Now, what I really like about him as well is this. Number 2, he's versatile enough to play standing up or in a 4-man front as a 5 technique. Now, he lined up a lot as a 5 technique, which I think gives Clark Lee a lot of creativity and how he's going to use him. I think sometimes when you get some of these edge guys, they're like very, very specialized in what they do. And they can only do a couple of things. They can only play in certain situations. They can only, they're rotational guys. Like if you need a bigger lineup, like you have to take those guys off the field. And I think McCallum is a guy that I don't believe that you're going to have to take off the field. I mean, he's disruptive. Blockers have a hard time with him. He has his great hands. He uses his hand, he uses his moves, and he's very technical and he's very fundamentally sound. And I know this coaching staff is going to be very excited to get him in camp and to get him on the field and really kind of perfect his craft. Now, he's going to get a chance to play a senior season, which I think with what you see from his junior highlights, the way he's getting off the ball, the way he's making a difference, the way he is just disrupting everything, you're going to see him, and I would love to see clips on his highlight reel. And Jace, if you're listening to this, I would love to see some run stuff on your highlight reel. I want to see, and I think the world wants to see, because the SEC is a run-dominant conference still. So we want to see you against the run. There's a lot of pass rush clips, and we love those. We appreciate those, and those are amazing. I have no doubts that you're great against the run. I just want to see it. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what you look like playing run technique, getting off a block, taking on a kick out. Those are the things that I want to see how well you do those things. So, like, I know there's going to be teams that try to log you, try to kick you out, try to read you. Like, I want to see you in all those type of situations. So, I know Jace just recently followed me on social media on X. So, I hope he's Jace, I hope you're listening to this, but those are kind of things I want to see in your highlight reel. I want to see you shine in those moments as well, because taking on a pulling guard on a counter play is equally as important as what you've shown already, which is you're just off and running to, getting to the quarterback, slinging them down, making play after play after play, getting your hands up and disrupting throwing lanes and really just, I like this, I'm really fired up because you play with your hand in the ground as a 5 technique. Like, I really like that as well. Like, I think from what I see with your athleticism, with his athleticism, it feels like I'm talking directly to Jace, which kind of am. But I feel like with the athleticism, he's really good. He's going to be really good at being able to stand up. And with Clark Lee and Steve Gregory, what they want to do defensively is they want to be multiple, and they want to have guys that, I don't think they want to have a bunch of guys standing over there that they have to worry about. Okay, well, here's the situation: it's 3rd and 8. Okay, we need to get Jace in the game, or it's it's 2nd and 1. Okay, we need to get Keanu in the game, or whatever the case may be, or whoever the personnel is and whoever they're worrying about different spots. I think if you do more and more, you'll get more opportunities to stay on the field and be a 3-down defensive player. And when you can do that, or when you have the ability to do that, I think that gives the coaching staff a lot of confidence that you're going to be able to do what you can do. So, I want to see more against the run. I want to see you take on blocks, and I'll go back and watch. I didn't watch the entire thing. I watched most of it, but it was mostly pass rushing. But I want to see, like, I think, predicting on how athletic you are, how tough you are, how much he uses his hands, how much all of that stuff is. I have no doubts that against the run, he's a beast. I have no doubts that taking on a pulling guard is no problem. I just want to see it, and I think people would want to see that as well. So, very excited about this commitment. He's arguably the second best or the best edge guy that Clark Lee has gotten since he's been at Vanderbilt. Darren Agu is somebody that was super, super talented coming out of high school as well. So, again, I think, in the evolving world of college football, if you can shore up those edge guys and get versatile guys at that spot to where you can situationally, you can put them down as a 5 technique, you can stand them up as an edge, you can shift things over, you can, there's a lot of different things you can do with those guys. And I think they call them, I think he'll fit into the razor position if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how that works. But with the versatility that you bring, if this is, if this is anything, as they progress, you're going to see more guys getting involved and getting tape and be able to make plays. And I think this just makes Vanderbilt's defense that much more better, that much more dangerous, because you can't really key in, okay, well, McCollum's in the game. Well, we know we're going to shift the protection over to him and things like that. But like it's, you can sneak him into the game. You can sneak him around the formations. You can do different things with him, because I think athletically he's good enough for that. And I think he's versatile enough to play in run situations as well as pass situations. And so you're really looking at a special player here out of North Carolina. we had to. It seems like we had to battle the entire ACC to get him. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Duke, NC State were some notable offers there. There was many, many more, but I'm guessing the allure of the SEC, the revenue share. If you get a ninth game, there's going to be that revenue share is going to go up. There's just a lot of money in the SEC, a lot of opportunity for NIL in the SEC, a lot of opportunity for exposure as far as playing the next level. And then there's just a lot of opportunity at Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's on the rise. And I never thought I'd say that, but Vanderbilt is becoming a viable program, and getting guys like this, albeit, the star rankings aren't quite there, but I'm not one who really cares about star rankings. I really don't. I watch the film and I know this dude can play. Right. I don't care if he's a 3-star, 2-star, 4-star. You cut on the film, the guy can ball. If you know the guy can ball, it don't matter what star they are. They could be unranked for all I care. Like, if the dude can ball, the dude can ball. Right. Like Trey Richardson coming out of Division II as a transfer at wide receiver, dude can ball. So I'm not in the least bit worried about it. So there's 2 other commits out there, and some of the current commits are doing a great job recruiting them. We'll see who they are. 2 big offensive linemen, perhaps 2 tackles, bookend tackles. Hey, we'll welcome that for sure. We'll talk about it next, though. Hey, but first, man, this NBA Finals is, the intensity, the buzzer beaters, fans losing their ever-loving minds. This kind of atmosphere you must experience live, and this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Vanderbilt makes it, or Gametime, not Vanderbilt, Gametime makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to tip-off, and with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, well, Gametime is a total game changer, right? So, I was in the app. I was looking at Vanderbilt games. I was trying to figure out, what kind of zone deals there were at First Bank Stadium. If there were going to be any deals in the new South End Zone, if Gametime had that reflected, and I can't remember what I saw, to be honest with you, but I got looking at some of the existing seats. I went in there with the intention on checking on the South End Zone, but I never really did. I never really got there. I saw some really good deals offering 60% off in some great sections of some already existing seats. And I can see my exact view before I buy. There's no surprises. The app makes it ridiculously simple. 2 taps and you're done. How much simpler can you get? And with Gametime Guarantee, you're getting the best deal. And if you find a better price in the same row and the same section, they'll credit me 110% of the difference. How about that? So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Shout out to the everydayers. Shout out to the people on social media that are showing love for my posts, my very simple posts. I love it. The simpler the post, it seems like the more attention they get, and I absolutely love it. So if you need a second listen, Locked On SEC. I had Chris Gordy on beginning of the week. He was phenomenal. And so you should check out his show, Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss, if you need some perspective there. It's this recruiting thing is really starting to pop for Vanderbilt. And I don't like, there's a lot that's happened between last summer and this point now. So my memory's kind of hazy on this, but I don't remember a flurry of commitments coming in like this. I don't remember, like, you wake up on a Tuesday and you got 5 commits sitting there and you're just like, whoa, like your head's spinning, I don't remember that last summer. I remember there were some quality recruits for sure, but I don't remember the rate at which they decided to commit. And I don't remember it being seeming like this frequent. And so that's a good thing, right? That, that shows that, these guys are really seeing something at Vanderbilt. And what that is probably you're going to get 5 different answers, but I think ultimately they see opportunity in various different ways, but there is opportunity nonetheless. And there's a lot of opportunity with guys that are about to move on to wherever they're going, graduation, NFL, wherever. I think there's going to be some opportunity there. With Adam Jim right here, right? It's he sees opportunity with Cole Spence on the way out. You see some opportunity there for a tight end spot or Colin Flanagan and Chris Tangelo. They see some opportunity in the defensive backfield. Clark Lee wants to get a little bit bigger back there in the secondary. So, those guys are providing that. And of course you get some star power and some superior athleticism at edge rusher. And Jace McCallum is just that. So there are 2 guys that are on the hook right now. And I think if you want to predict, I think worst case, I think you get one of these 2 guys, but Vanderbilt's going to be hard to beat for these guys. Like Mitchell Smith, offensive tackle, 6'6", 320, from Picayune, Mississippi. I think I said that right. Picayune. I have no idea if I said that right or not. Stephen Willis, if you're listening to this, please correct me. But Mitchell Smith, he's got everything you want in an offensive tackle. Big. He probably fits in at a strong tackle. He's got Alabama, Ole Miss, FSU, and Arkansas as his notable offers. I think in-state school, I think is going to be hard to compete with, but they may end up recruiting over him. But I mean, this dude is a freaking unit, man. And, it's just a devastating down blocker. And I think with Vanderbilt's unique style and the fact that he's going to have opportunity because he looks pretty polished right now. I mean, I think you come in and you kind of trim the fat a little bit, add some good weight, get in a college program, you're going to be good. But the freaking nasty streak this dude has is outstanding. He plays left tackle for Picayune Memorial. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but just the rate at which when he gets his hands on you, I mean, you're going backwards, man. And it's just he'd be a great addition for the strong side of this offensive line. I mean, just the way he comes off the ball, just a nastiness in which he finishes blocks, and he's going to make sure you get to the ground, and he's going to drive your butt off the ball. And this is what I like. He's a nasty offensive tackle, and that's just kind of what you need for that position in this league. And so I'm very excited about the possibility of getting Mitchell Smith. Feel pretty good about it. And that's going to be one that I would kind of be surprised if he went elsewhere. But I don't want to say that with too much oomph, but I think he'd be great. And then Quinn Buckey is somebody, Vanderbilt's in his Final Four. UCLA, Michigan State, and Arizona are the others. To be honest, he's a California kid, so UCLA. I don't know that Arizona. I think I don't know how. That situation just seems odd. I think Big Ten, SEC is going to be the route. I think Michigan State's making a valiant effort, but I think it's going to be Vanderbilt, and I think 6'6", 270, play that quick side, good feet, athletic. I think you get a tackle that's going to have a lot of opportunity. You pair him with Mitchell Smith, you've got your bookended. You got your both tackles. You got your strong tackle, you got your quick tackle, and you got quite the duo there. So I think you're looking at a pair of really good tackles here, and I feel really good about it. And with offensive line recruiting, it's really a tough thing. And I think when you have a unique system, a unique style of the way you do things, it for sometimes it can really backfire on you, and sometimes you get guys with that I think some guys just are like, this is odd, I don't like it, I don't understand it, and you get those guys, and those guys don't end up committing, who would be very very much perfect for what we do. But I think you're also on the flip side of that coin. I think you get a lot more attention as well. I think you get a lot more offensive linemen looking at you because you're unique, and because, with Mitchell Smith, you get a guy coming in. I mean, that dude, like I said, is just a devastating run blocker. And you come in, you're like, so the best of what I do is going to be highlighted, and I can go play the strong tackle, and I can, majority of the time, come off the ball and just wreck people. Okay, I'm here. Or like you get a guy that's better at pass pro. Okay, I'm going to come to a place where like they're going to showcase my pass pro. Like I'm going to have to run block, obviously, but like I can play the quick side. Like I can showcase some athleticism here. Like there's some things about this unique style that I think is very, very attractive. If you can get past the whole, like, I'm going to have to wrap my head around switching sides and moving around with their call or away from the call. Like if you can wrap your mind around that, which some people can, a lot of people can, some people can't. Then I think Vanderbilt becomes a very attractive offensive line school. But if you can't wrap your head around that, then it's just kind of useless. But I really like it. I think the best of what it does, once you get the hang of it, is exactly what I said just moments ago. It showcases what you're best at, and you're able to recruit to those spots, and you can find very specific attributes that fit in either strong or quick. And you can fit them into either bucket, and I think you have a wider range of guys you can take chances on because of that. And I don't think you have to worry about the whole right, left thing and like, hey, this guy played, So it's a very unique, but I think very effective as well. So, but kickoff times, speaking of unique and very well done, kickoff times, they're out for the entire season. There's some windows that games could get flexed around, but hey, we got an idea. We're going to talk about it next. All right, wrapping up the show here. Like the great Yogi Berra said, it got late early, and we had some fun here. Talking recruiting, man, that can always get you going, get you right. So kickoff times are set for all the games. We talked about the first three, so we know about the first three. Now the rest of them are set. Shout out to the everydayers, by the way. Maybe the everydayers will be at these games. Who knows, right? But and before I get into it, though, shout out to Austin Nye. He made the freshman All-American team as a pitcher. Had a really, really good year as a freshman. So future's bright for Austin Nye, but congratulations, make the freshman All-American team. Here's the kickoff window. Okay, we knew about the first three. Charleston Southern, 6 p.m., ESPN SEC Plus. So you got to stream that one. ACC Network, you better go ahead and make arrangements now to get the ACC Network. September 6th against Virginia Tech. That one's a 6:30 kick Central Time. September 13th against South Carolina. That's going to be either on ESPN or SEC Network. That could be the primetime game, depending on if both teams are undefeated. If both teams beat Virginia Tech, because South Carolina starts with Virginia Tech and then Virginia Tech hosts Vanderbilt. So it's an all SEC affair for Virginia Tech to start the season. That game could be 6 or 6:45. Georgia State, that's 6:30 on ESPN2 or ESPNU, depending on what other games are like that week. On the 27th of September, SEC Network, 11:45 kick. That's going to be that weird flex SEC game. And then October 4th against Bama. Network is to be determined, but this one has the most range because this is a big story for this game. But it could either be the 2:30, the 2:30 or 3:30 game, or the 5, or the 6 to 7 window. So it could be the 2:30 to 3:30 window or the 6 to 7 window Central Time. So this game has a wide range of things depending on the storylines. Let's say, for argument's sake, that Vanderbilt's undefeated coming into this game, and so is Alabama. That could be the game of the week. Like, game day could be in Tuscaloosa that week for the Vanderbilt-Alabama game. Just let your mind wrap around that. Did we ever think we'd be here? October 18th, that's 11 a.m. kick against LSU. Maybe the fans won't be quite as rowdy and LSU won't be woken up yet. So that, Garrett Nussmeier gets off the bus. Maybe he went out the night before, or he had some pancake pantry the morning of. Who knows? Missouri, that game, network to be announced. Same with LSU. I'm thinking it's just going to be the 11 a.m. ESPN 2 game probably with LSU, depending on where it's at. Missouri is going to be in the same window as the Alabama one. We just don't really know. It's going to be afternoon or night on some network against Texas. It's the basically ESPN or ABC's version of the big noon kickoff, mostly because they want to showcase Texas, but this will be getting the day started right. November 8th, my mom's birthday, is 2:30 slot, depending on what other games are happening. The network's going to be announced. And then it's going to be that way the rest of the season. Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee are all in the same time slot, but the network is going to be announced, right? Because there's a lot that's happening. So the networks are going to, or ESPN really is just going to sort it out and kind of slot people in where they are. So Vanderbilt, I think, could get themselves a lot of like big audience type games if they can just win, right? And some notable times, I really like the idea of this October 18th, 11 a.m. kickoff. LSU tends to struggle at that time of day for some reason. And that could be a game where, LSU is going to be overconfident, and, they beat Vanderbilt pretty good last season with Garrett Nussmeier. And I think, Garrett Nussmeier is as talented as they come, but you get a 11 a.m. kick at Vanderbilt. Those games are usually very, very odd, right? You get, you get some of those like mid-afternoon games that can also be kind of odd at Vanderbilt. Like, it's a weird, like, Vanderbilt can be a weird environment as far as that goes. Like, teams they come in and it just has this weird effect on them. And so I really like the idea of that being an 11 a.m. kick. And I'll take, the more I dive into some of these games individually, that game could also be sandwiched in between like two really important games for LSU. So that could be a game that they could lose focus on. So this, what I want you guys to do in the comments, I got a little assignment for y'all, for all the listeners. This is some what I want you to do is, what game are you fired up for the most? What do we think of the time slots? You got a lot of mid-afternoon kicks, which is going to be great. I think it's great. You get some mid-afternoon, like, you get to get your morning going, you get to handle all your business, and then, you get your evenings free, so you get home, watch some games that night. But Vanderbilt's going to be kind of in the middle of the afternoon. So I'm really excited about these games. I think Vanderbilt is starting to get some favorable draws as far as game time slots. I think, last year they got they got a lot of those like late afternoon, like, hey, we just got to throw them in a slot and we can kind of hide them in the late afternoon. Or they got 11 a.m. kicks. Like, they got some of those, like, you're the bottom of the SEC time slots. They're not getting those this year. They're getting a lot more mid-afternoon. They're getting a lot more, like, these are some pretty good time slots. And so, I think this is another evidence point of, hey, Vanderbilt's starting to get a little bit of respect here. And so this is something I think that you should really kind of take notice of. But that's all I got for you guys. That's all we got. Here we go. We're at the end of the road. We say goodbye now. But thanks for watching. Thanks for checking us out. If you need a second listen, Obviously Locked On SEC, but like Locked On Portal with Brian Smith, I think is a phenomenal show. He does a great job with all the recruiting and portal stuff. And of course, any network, if I post a schedule up, any show on our network that's with these schools, go ahead and check them out. I don't think Virginia Tech has one, but go ahead and check out the SEC ones at least. And you won't regret it, I promise. We have a great network of hosts in this conference and on this podcast network, the largest sports podcast network in the country. And we're going to start acting like it. So I really like it. I really appreciate you guys. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you back here next time on the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Anchor down. Peace.